Hi everyone, thanks for joining our Power BI webinar today. My name is McKenna Mori and I'm an account manager at Helpshift and also a Power BI specialist here. The goal of this webinar is to go over some of the basics of Power BI and different ways that you can use it for your business. Some of the topics we're going to cover today: what is Power BI? When should I use Power BI versus when should I use dashboard analytics? What are the different types of content packs that we have? What are some ways that you can customize reports and share your reports with people inside of and outside of your organization? Then we're going to jump into a live demo and leave time at the end for questions. So what is Power BI? Power BI is Microsoft's suite of business analytics products that takes raw data and turns it into visualizations so that you can answer questions about your business. You can connect all different types of sources of data into Power BI, including your Helpshift data, to create these different visualizations. What we did with Power BI is we created a set of templated reports that you connect to your Helpshift data that are accessible directly from Power BI's app source. And the reason that we partnered with Power BI over other business intelligence tools is that it's an extremely powerful tool out of the box. But it also gives our clients the flexibility they need to mold reports to match their needs. Also, updating reports is really simple because all you need to do is download the new versions from the app source. So you might be wondering if you and your support team actually need to be using Power BI, or if you should just continue to use your dashboard analytics. Helpshift dashboard analytics are great for when you need a high-level view into your analytics. Anyone with a supervisor or admin role can see up-to-date numbers on your monthly active users, contact rate, how your agents are performing, or which FAQs need to be improved. On the other hand, Power BI is a business intelligence tool, so it can answer questions that directly impact your business. It can provide detailed filtering, allows for customized reports, and allows you to export your data to share. You can slice and dice your data so that you can extract trends and valuable insights that you wouldn't be able to do so otherwise. So in Helpshift, due to the amount of data that is being passed to Power BI, we created 3 different content packs, each with a different focus. The different content packs are support analytics, FAQ analytics, and agent analytics. Depending on the data that you want to analyze, you'll use a different content pack. Support analytics focus on data surrounding your issues. Agent analytics focus on data on agent performance and productivity. And your FAQ analytics has data about your FAQs. We've also recently made 2 major changes to your content packs that I really want to make sure that we highlight. First is that your Power BI reports can now be shown in your local time zone. You can choose your time zone before downloading them from the admin dashboard. If you've already downloaded your Helpshift reports, but you want to change the time zone of your Power BI reports, you need to re-download them to do this. Finally, we recently released reporting on custom issue fields. In your admin dashboard, you can map custom issue fields to fields in your Helpshift support analytics content pack. Because custom issue fields will be different for every client, creating reports from these custom issue fields does require customization and for you to build your own visuals. To learn more about this, you can read up more in our Helpshift support portal. Coming soon. So I also want to make sure that during this webinar, we touch a little bit upon the things that we have upcoming on the roadmap for Power BI. And because we understand the value that data brings to our customers, we're continuing with these updates and offerings of Power BI. So some of the things that we're coming out with soon are FAQ deflections and a second version of our agent analytics report. Our report on FAQ deflections will help to quantify and measure the actual value you're getting from your Helpshift FAQs backed by data. This will help your team to make better decisions about how to improve and to update your content. Some of our metrics that will include are FAQs created without FAQ engagement, deflections by language, deflections by FAQ section, FAQ last updated date, and number of failed deflections by FAQ. The V2 of our agent analytics report will have some updates that we made about after receiving customer feedback. This includes easier to analyze agent trends over time and new visuals. Some of the metrics that are going to be included are hours worked by agent, tickets per hour, number of resolved issues, trends by agent, and CSAT by agent. Customizing and editing reports. Helpshift understands that every organization is different. Although we try to cover most clients' needs with our out-of-the-box reports, we know that oftentimes teams will need to customize their reports. Power BI gives teams the flexibility to create and edit their own reports by having access to Helpshift's underlying data model. When you're looking at your Helpshift reports in Power BI, there are two different views, reading view and editing view. By default, you'll be in reading view, which allows you to interact with your data, including filtering or exporting data without the worry of making permanent changes to your reports. When you change to editing view, this allows you to make customizations to your reports or even create entirely new ones. So, chances are that you'll want to share your insights and data with people inside or outside of your organization. So understanding what options for sharing reports are available is extremely important. And I'm going to go and explain this a little bit now, but I'm going to show you how they look more detail during the demo. The first option for sharing reports is simply sharing your Power BI username, which doubles as your authentication key when you download reports. Your Power BI username is located in your admin dashboard in the analytics section and is viewable once Power BI has been enabled. Anyone who has this key can connect to your Helpshift reports directly from the Power BI app source. The main drawback of this method is that it gives the person who downloads your reports full access to all of your data, and you really should use caution with who you choose to share your reports with in this way. The next option is to share your reports from a dashboard. This option is only available for pro accounts. And when you use this option, your reports will only be visible to the person who owns the Power BI account, but you can pin specific or pieces of visuals from your different reports to create a dashboard of the most important parts of your report to share with people inside and outside of your organization. The people you share these reports with will have access to the visuals you share with them and will not be able to make edits. But again, though, they can interact with the data, they just cannot make edits. Another option is exporting to Excel, which is great for presentations or sharing static reports for leadership. Besides exporting to PowerPoint, you can export all data and visuals to Excel. This allows the flexibility to mold your data to fit your needs. Finally, you can publish your reports to the web and share with anyone. Anyone who you share the link with can filter and interact with your data without having access to edit the underlying reports. Now we're going to jump into our live demo. When you come into your Power BI workspace, you land in your Power BI reports. If you click on the hamburger bun in the upper left-hand corner, you can see your dashboards, reports, and data sets. Data sets are how you connect to your actual data. Reports are where you're going to be spending most of your time and include your Helpshift reports. Your dashboards refer to a single view, which include selected visuals from your reports. And dashboards are what can be shared between members of your team. When you click into a report, you'll see, first of all, at the bottom part of your view, you'll see all of the different reports that you have access to, and you'll see that they scroll. So we have a lot of different reports. I'm going to start by clicking into time to first response minutes. You'll see first at the top of all of our reports, there are headline numbers that give a single view that will update dynamically based on your selection. On the left-hand side, you'll see there's all these different filters. And as I change or add filters, again, you'll see that these numbers will adjust here based on my selection. If I click on a specific visual, I can highlight my data. I can also expand different visuals to get a better view. If I click the three dots on the right-hand side corner of all the different visuals, you'll see that I can export my data. And I'm given the option to either export the summarized data or the underlying data. You'll see here that there's this little pin button as well. This is where you pin visuals to your dashboard to share. So if I hit pin visual, you can choose to pin to an existing one or create a new dashboard. So for this, I'm going to say webinar dashboard and pin it there. So I can pin specific visuals, or I can pin entire pages. At the bottom part of the screen too, you'll see that there's this issues list. And again, these issues are also updating as I'm changing my selections. And I can also export this to Excel. What's really cool too is you'll see that there's this little link button or URL. If I click this, this is going to bring me directly to my Helpshift dashboard. So one use case could be that if I want to see issues that are outside of my SLA for time to first response, or if I want to see all my issues that were created between the first and the second, I can change my time range and then export all of these issues. There's also, when you first download your reports, your different reports are scheduled to automatically refresh 1 time per day. But you can make a change to this if you want to. So if I go to the data sets in the left-hand corner, if I hit the 3 ellipses, I can go to schedule refresh. If I hit this, it's going to bring me to the settings section. I'm going to hit schedule refresh, and I can choose to do hourly refreshes up to 8 times a day. So how I do this is I just start adding time. So I want my first refresh to be at 8 a.m. I want my next refresh to be at 9 a.m., et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At any time, though, if you want to refresh your data now, you can always do that also from the data set by hitting refresh now. So as previously discussed, there's a few different ways that you can share your accounts that I want to make sure that we touch upon. So I'm going to go back to our Helpshift support page. And I'm also going to pin, we pinned a visual, but I'm also going to pin this active users, or I'm actually going to pin our time to first response minute report. I'm going to pin this entire page to our webinar dashboard. Now I'm going to go to my webinar dashboard, and you'll see that there's this single view with the 2 different items that I chose to add to this dashboard. In the upper right-hand side, you'll see there's this share button, which allows you to share with members of your team. Again, I'm giving this prompt because this is not a pro account. So once you upgrade that account, you can share with other members. You can also, if I go back to reports, You could also hit File and Export to PowerPoint. So if I wanted to export this, that would only do 15, so I would just need to delete some of the pages at the end of this report. You can also publish to web. So I'm going to hit Create Embed Code, hit Publish, and then if I copy this link, paste it here, you'll see that I can't edit any of this. I can't edit this report, but I can click through. All of the 19 pages are available, and I can still filter. So this is really cool for sharing with people that you don't want to have access to change anything, any of your underlying data. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is how to create and customize your reports. So I'm going to go back to our Helpshift support reports. And then what I'm going to do is show you how to, one of the use cases I'm going to show you is how to export issues that have a specific bug tag and show all users affected by this bug. So to do this, I'm going to start by going to my incoming volume report. So right now I'm in reading view. So I'm going to first, to start out, I need to change from reading view to editing view. So I'm going to hit edit report. And I'm going to start by adding a filter. Actually, let me change this back to users affected by bug. Incoming volume. And start by adding the tag of bug. So now I've filtered all of my issues to be issues that have the bug tag during this time range. Now, one thing you see that's not included in my table right now is user ID. And this is how a lot of clients identify specific users. So we need to figure out a way to get user ID into this table. To do that, again, we're going to hit edit report. I'm going to click on this specific table so that we can add values to it. When I click on the table, you'll see that all of this information appears on the right-hand side. So up here are the visualizations. So this allows you to adjust the different visuals. So if I click onto different visuals, you'll see the different visuals for these different, how they're being created. So if I click this table at the bottom, you'll see all of the different values that have been included from our data model, or all the fields. So I need to add user ID. So to do this, I'm going to find it. So search user ID. So you'll see that this pops up automatically, and it's issues external user ID. So I need to add this to our table, so I'm going to drag it into values. So now you'll see that this external user ID has appeared in the table, so I can see the exact users associated with the tag of bug during this time range. You can see that in this table too, I have a total of 2,259 issues with the tag of bug. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to export this data and save this information for later. So another thing that you might want to do is go a step further and figure out, okay, I understand that I have 2,000 issues affected by a bug during this time range. I want to see which ones were on an old app version. So to do this, I'm going to need to add a new filter, because on the left-hand side, these are just out of the box filter, but I can add a filter for just about anything. So I'm still in editing view. So I'm going to search app version. You'll see that quickly pops up. I'm going to make sure that I've unselected from everything, and I'm going to drag app version to the values area. You'll see that this little thing here appeared. By default, it's going to be in this little table view, but I'm going to want to change it to what's called a slicer. It's basically a filter in Power BI. So I'm going to change it to a filter, and I'm also going to make sure that I can multi-select, because right now I can only single select different values. So to do this, I'm going to hit the paintbrush, selection controls, and turn on multi-selection. From there, I want to change this from this little scroll bar to a drop down like in my other filters. So I'm going to hit this little triangle and change it from a list to a drop down. So now it looks pretty similar to all the filters I have on the left-hand side. I can always change the header or the background or the colors from this paintbrush icon here. So now I want to see, okay, I want to see all users that wrote in about a bug on old app versions. So you can actually see that most of my issues that are coming in are on old app versions. So this is really helpful for understanding, okay, what is going on with the support issues that are coming in? Where is the problem coming from? The final thing that I want to talk about is a common ask from some of our clients is how to create a report for 5-star CSAT with feedback. So what I'm actually going to do for this one is I'm going to create a whole new report. So when I'm in editing view and I scroll all the way to the right, you'll see this yellow plus button, which creates this blank report. So I'm going to name this 5-star CSAT. So now I need to start creating my different visuals. So to start, I want to see the number of issues created based on result date. So I'm going to say issues created issues. Scroll this over to see a little bit better. Number of issues, there we go. Number here we go. So number of issues. And I'm going to create a bar graph. And I want the values to be number of axis to be number of issues. And I want the response state for CSAT to be the axis. So CSAT response state. And I'm going to change it from a hierarchy to the CSAT. Change this. I'm going to switch these. So I'm going to move this over so you have a better view. And I'm going to, in the legend, I want to add the CSAT rating. So I'm going to add this as the legend. So I can see the breakdown of CSAT scores by response date. So what I'm also going to want to do is add a filter for CSAT. So I'm deselecting. I'm going to add a filter for CSAT. So I'm going to add it as a value. Do the same thing that we did before. Add a slicer. Make sure multi-select is turned on. And I'm just going to leave it like this for now. And I'm going to say, okay, only issues with a 5-star rating. And then to go along with this, I want to see a table that shows all the issues and the responses. So I'm going to do, feedback, or CSAT comment. you'll see that it starts giving me all the different comments. And I can even add the rating too. So I can add whatever values that I want here. So there's the rating next to the comment. So I can even do the inverse. I could show all the CSAT scores with a 1 and all of the different responses. So let me go back to, so that's pretty much what I wanted to go over during our demo. Now we'll leave it open for questions from everyone. Let me read this out loud. So can we export something from Helpshift and import into Power BI and have the basic graphs / charts auto-populate? Or can we export CSVs from Helpshift and then manually build out the charts? So all those reports that I showed you guys, all of the ones, the different reports along the bottom, those are automatically downloaded from Power BI's app source. So Helpshift created these out-of-the-box reports that you can access from Microsoft's app source, and using an authentication key that we give you, you can connect these reports to your data. So you don't have to do any of that work. It's just the customization that you need to add there. So if that makes sense. So we give you these out-of-the-box reports, and any customization you can do later on. But you can, so you can build your own or use the ones that we give you. Okay, the next question, when you share a web page version of your dashboard, is it public or must a viewer have the link in order to view? How do we protect our proprietary data without requiring all of our audience members to sign up for Pro? So the viewer must have the link in order to view. So if you don't create the link, then there's no public way to view it otherwise. Okay. Can you split incoming issues by OS version? Yes, you definitely can. You can, again, add your own filter for OS version. And you can also filter by platform. So yes, you can. Is there a tutorial link I can follow? So, I should have actually mentioned this before. In Helpshift, if you go to the Helpshift support page, we do have resources. We have a getting started guide, as well as Power BI FAQs that you can view. If that isn't enough, what we really recommend that you do is Power BI has a whole bunch of different materials that you can view on their website, and different tutorials, and a lot of different great resources that you can use if it's not if what we have isn't enough. Our getting started guides and our FAQs are related to our Helpshift specific reports. Will there ever be the ability to go back more than 180 days of data? I will actually let Eric speak on this one. Eric, because he's in product management. Eric, if you can join.
Yep. This is actually something that we're working on right now to see how we can do that. Basically what the constraint is that Power BI actually loads all of the data into their data store, and both the Pro and the the free account actually have an upper cap of how much data that they download. So we actually have been in discussions with Microsoft about how can we position our data model such that we can actually go back to beyond 180 days. And so that's really where the cap there is been doing. So it's something we've been investigating, working with Microsoft on how we could raise that limit. So.
And actually, I'll let Eric answer the next question too. And the next question is, one of the main issues we've had with the Helpshift analytics in the past has been that you're not able to combine language metrics for issues created via the SDK and tickets submitted via the web form or email, automatically and manually tagged. Is it possible with Power BI?
Yeah, so that's actually a more core fundamental thing, is that when you create issues via the SDK actually tags a language so that you understand it. When you create issues via the web, language is not a primary key that gets set. And so what we actually really need to do is be able to set languages via the web. Now, one of the things that we have available as of today, that I think it came out a couple of days ago, was the introduction of custom issue fields. And custom issue fields actually provide you the ability to create custom fields. You can call it language or whatever you want. You can set those, make sure the SDK and the web set both of that custom issue fields, and you'll be able to generate reports on that. And I think we'll probably have a webinar in the future about how to use custom issue fields for some of these things where you have like different data coming from different places, but you want to consolidate on a single one. And additionally, finally, making language, and this is kind of outside of Power BI, but making language settable via the web and kind of closing those, that's something also that we were looking at, so that we kind of have parity between the web SDK, the web APIs and the SDKs. So, all right, thanks, McKenna.
Yeah. The next question is, in the last custom report you showed, would you be able to link directly to the issue the CSAT comment is attached to? If so, is this default, or do we need to set this up specifically? So in the last report that I showed, you can actually add a column in that report that I was showing for issue ID, a link to an issue ID, and link out. You can also do this directly from the CSAT report. So we have a CSAT report, and you can filter on that report by 4 or 5 stars, and it will have the issue ID linked in that report automatically. But it is a field in Power BI for that issue ID link to link out to the dashboard. So, because I can definitely see why that would be helpful for if you were trying to audit or work with your agents to improve. And okay, is it okay? Follow-up clarification. Oh, well, here.
Yeah, I'll take this one from Kenneth. Is this the question from Kenneth? Kenneth, that would be extremely helpful. We will be contacting you. So the question is.
But we're going to clarify the question. I'll read out loud. It says, if it is helpful, it would be we could include 180 days for a fee, or to have that added.
Yeah, and I think he was just saying that this is important for him, and I really appreciate the feedback, and it is just definitely something that we need to take a look at how we address, and yeah, let's do make sure that we get back with Kenneth on that.
Okay. And then, Eric, could you clarify too on the last question as well?
Could you read it?
Yes. Follow-up clarification. So is it still not possible to have a combined report in Power BI that simply combines issues where language is German, SDK, and issues have the tag German, web, or email?
Right. And this is, let me just follow up on that, is that if you would like to actually combine those into the same report, what I would recommend that you do is you actually, instead of using a tag, that you use custom issue fields, and that in doing that, you would always set that custom issue field for German on all of those, and then that would be the easiest way to do that. You could also you could create a report that says if language is German, and if the web is, if the tag is German for web and email. So you could create a filter that combines those. So you could do that, provide that you have the tag German already. McKenna showed you kind of how to do the customization. So that's just a matter of setting up your filter, because filters do allow you to combine 2 different conditions. And so, yeah, we should be able to actually do this report as you've defined it today.
And finally, just to clarify, we saw in the chat someone asked about sending the slides afterwards. Yes, for all attendees, we're going to be sending you guys the slides and a recording for you guys to make it easier. Okay, yeah, and the final thing we do want to do for you guys is show you how to install a content pack, because you might not have done that before. So to do that, I first need to get my Power BI key. So I'm going to go to our demo dashboard really quickly.
Okay, so you should see my screen right now, and you can see that I'm in Helpshift. And if I go into Helpshift, there's a place that's called Analytics, and under the Analytics there is a tab called Power BI Analytics. And there you will get your authentication method, basic, and your username and your domain. And this is very important because you're going to need to know this to connect. And then we actually have links right here to the different content packs. So if someone wanted to get the support analytics content pack, the one that we were just showing, you just click on that and it'll actually bring up Power BI, and it'll actually launch it. And so you can see it actually brings up the install right away. And then you just type in your domain, you type in the number of days, and then now I believe I've already set this up before, and so it's not going to ask me for authentication, but if it did, it would have asked me for my authentication, in which place I would have added that. Oh, good, it hasn't done that. So I just changed this authentication method to basic, and then I add the key here as part of this. So, so that's basically all that you need to do to get it set up, and then it will, it'll set it up. So here I'll just run it right now, and then you can see it's. I obviously have a lot of other ones here, but you can see it's importing it, and it takes a couple minutes to do that, but that's what it does. All right, I'm going to stop my share, McKenna, and you can take over again.
Great. So Kenneth also asked us, how do I know if the FAQ analytics pack already? Where would that be visible? So let's share our screen. If you have it, it will be, if you have the analytics pack, you will see it here in the left-hand side. You see right here in the data set, it says FAQ analytics. It looks like it deleted the report, but it'll say FAQ analytics, or it'll say support analytics or agent analytics. So that's how you know. If you, again, haven't gotten it, you just go to get data, services, and if you type in Helpshift, you'll see that all three of these different content packs appear. So this is where you download them. Also, anytime that you need to update your content packs, you go back to the same location. So that's how you would do that. Okay, and then the next question, let me just read this really quickly. If we have a field like free space or total space, which is populating in Android tickets, but not in iOS tickets that are created with Helpshift SDK, is that likely a problem with our own setup in the iOS version of the app, or am I missing something? I'll actually, again, let Eric take this answer. This is an SDK question.
Yeah, and I think we'll have to follow up because I wasn't aware that the default settings there were different. So I think we should follow up of why the iOS and SDK aren't picking up the free space or total space. It might be a setting or not. I just don't know right off the top of my head. So,
cool.
Is there any way, now do we, in fact, on that, is there a follow-up email that questions can be sent into after this?
Oh, that's a good question. If you have any other follow-up questions, why don't you email, you can email me at mckenna@helpshift.com. Yes, I'm an account manager here, so. Okay, or if you have your personal account manager, then reach out to them first. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay. So if you were getting error, this is something, let's follow up. Thanks for, so Aziz, let's follow up with you after that. We'll talk to your account manager for MoneyLion, and we'll follow up with you on that specifically. Okay, great. Let's just make sure we don't have anything else. We see a chat. Okay. Perfect.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Samantha from Lydia and Gabe from Glue. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining the webinar. We will send it out along with the slides. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your account manager, contact our support team, support@helpshift.com. You'll get a response following up to this webinar.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.